So let's get the meeting going. I'll call the meeting to order. Mr. Barella, will you lead us in the pledge and the salute?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the symbol for perfect friendship among united cultures.
Thank you. Item 1D, approval of tonight's agenda. What's the pleasure?
Move to approve October 15th, 2024 agenda.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the September 17th regular board meeting minutes.
Move to approve September 17th, 2024 regular board meeting agenda minutes. Sorry.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the last month's board meeting agenda or minutes. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. We're coming to public comment. Do you have public comment? Just came to watch? All right. Well, welcome. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 3, student council. Mr. Patterson's filling in tonight.
I am filling in. Our young lady with us not knowing about power and I had to go to work, so I'm filling in for her so she could go home to work. A couple of things she talked about was her homecoming report, Spirit Day participation. Overall school participation totals per day was PJ Day was 85%, Inside Out Day was 65%, Hippie Day was 64%, Spirit Day was 83%. With an overall participation by grade, 4th grade won with 96% participation.
Woo! They get a prize?
So, I think they did.
All right.
I actually think they did pizza today. They were cooking pizza for something today. So
Okay, good.
they had the wood pile for bonfire. The senior class won that. 8th grade won the door decorations. There were a lot of cool door decorations.
That was my favorite.
If you want to come see tomorrow, because we may be having a visitor next week, so we'll have to move some things. Parade participants, there were 14 floats. The drum line won the best float. Prince and Princess was Elijah Hernandez and Dream Barella. King and Queen was Aaron Padilla Lopez and Brianna Villanueva. Dance participants, there were 27 9th through 12th graders with 2 out-of-town guests. And then the quarter one winners of this Grizzly Spirit Day was 5th grade with 71% participation.
Awesome. Right.
Upcoming events is in October. They're doing food gram sales. October 31st, they're doing Halloween Fall Carnival from 4 to 6. November 11th through 20th is Thanksgiving food drive. Trying to partner with a couple other clubs. November 14th, Diabetes Prevention Day. Everyone wear blue. Tentatively, right now, we're still working on the day, but November 19th will be K5 Turkey Trot. December 2nd through 12th will be Sanagram sales, and December 10th, Blossom and Bow event, and dance is tentatively set up. Still waiting on finalizing basketball schedules to make sure that'll work. So that is the
Good report.
update this year.
Right.
So,
I like that.
Yes, good.
Even took time to give us percentages.
Right. And then PAC report.
So PAC meeting was scheduled for last week with a focus on gifted. The people that showed up was the presenters and staff. We didn't have anybody else show up, so we'll have to reschedule, add it to the next agenda because there are important pieces to that need to be followed through on.
What happened? I heard there was miscommunication.
It was the night of the bonfire.
Is that what it was?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
I had planned on being there, but it was the night of the bonfire, so.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So was it, does it go up to is it still being posted on Facebook?
And Kathy sent it out on this
Okay.
the week before.
Yeah, I saw it everywhere.
And it was the date that was picked at the last last meeting also late in time, so it
I
was
meant to
kind of
ask about it
a lot of
before.
things on it.
Right.
So, so there's not really anything to report right now except that
We'll
we
reschedule.
revisit that.
Okay.
Maybe sooner than later, but we need to get that out, so.
Okey-doke. Principal's report.
So enrollment, so whole school enrollment is 149. Pre-K 2 or pre-K 3 is still at 2, pre-K 4 at 2. Kindergarten through 5th grade, we have 72 kids, 25 middle school students, and 48 high school students. So K through 12, 145.
Okay.
Yesterday, FFA had their monthly meeting, which was scheduled for Wednesday, but because of moving the Alamo Navajo volleyball game, he was going to lose some of his officers, so they moved it to last night. Letty was able to provide some door prizes for the kids. Mabel Bees offered those door prizes, so drew 3 names, and it was either a milkshake, a sundae, or 1 dinner plate. So,
All right.
and they had about 25 FFA members show up.
Wow.
There is a volleyball game going on right now at Hondo. There's a volleyball game tomorrow at Alamo Navajo. The 10th graders will participate in PSAT tomorrow morning, and it's about 3 hours, so they'll start at 8:30. Friday, the FFA kiddos will travel for national convention, so they'll be gone from the 18th through the 29th, and I will be filming them. Ask me about it later, but right now I'm excited to go. Saturday is the Animus game for football, although they're trying to maybe change it to Friday because one of the students does church activities on Saturdays, so he will not be available. And then there's 2 going on the FFA trip, so
Is it here or anonymous?
it's here.
So if it's not, if it's not moved to either Thursday or Friday, it won't be happening.
Right.
So, it won't
And then Thursday, is there a volleyball game too?
no, they're all away.
Yes, Thursday away at Corona,
It's a
Corona. Okay.
and that's it.
Any questions for Ms. Brill?
Have fun.
Thank
on your
you.
trip.
And Alamo now.
Have you been before?
The game tomorrow will
When I was a
reschedule.
student,
Mhm.
to Kansas City, but
Not to any of that.
not as a chaperone.
Mhm.
And I think we're taking 8 kids, so 4 boys and 4 girls.
It's quite the sight to see
We're
that.
leaving at 4 o'clock Friday morning.
Woo-hoo. How we-
Well, it'll be fun, I'm sure. Moving on, superintendent's report.
Construction update, there's not a whole lot. You can see the demolition's moving along rather quickly. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, they'll have the rest of the debris hauled off and we'll start doing the dirt work and the groundwork to bring in the new utilities and those types of things. November 1st, they will start working on the CTE building, part of it, child lab. That will start November 1st. And then the goal right now is to start working on the football field sometime soon after the season is over. A couple things that would hinder that from happening is either we start it fairly soon, so we have it in place for next year, and we just play track practice, or we start it this summer and we may have to play every football game on the road next year because it's still under construction. So we're kind of in a dilemma on that aspect. From a ever problem water standpoint, the sooner we can get it done, the better. I have talked to Capitan Superintendent and talked to the coaches. We can travel our kids to Capitan to practice in their track. In fact, Capitan was like that, actually helped them out because it gets more a little bit of competition at practice, but it also gives a break between sprints and break between that. So, because there's another group that has to go. And so still trying to work out some details to make sure all that will work. For us, the biggest part will be transportation, getting them over there. And we've talked about a plan on that. Most of them are in athletics the last period of the day. We can run them over during athletics, come back on the bus route, and then go back and pick them up after practice. there's some things that we're working out on that. We know for sure when the field and track will start. Kind of the sooner the better on that aspect.
If we did start it, what are we gonna do with PE?
PE can be in the gym. The key is we'd have to change our route getting there. And that would kind of depend on where construction is at what stages.
Okay.
So a lot of those,
With a bit of hoop jumping.
yes. So, and
Okay.
parking ever becomes more scarce every project that we start on. So we've moved Suburban. Some of us are parking over here where the Suburbans are right now so that we can leave room for guests when they come to the school, ancillary staff, parents, things like that. So it's going to be, that aspect's going to be kind of messy for a while.
Right.
PAC meeting where we talked about nurse, there hadn't really been a change on that, except that when we had math night, they were here to talk to parents and present what things were. We had a lot of kids show up for math night. We didn't have a whole lot of parents stay. They kind of dropped the kids off and left. And so something we'll do a little different next year. This year they did it a little earlier, and so one of the conversations is moving a little later next year. We'll see if that will help. If they did it at 5:30 instead of 6, like last time we did it at 6, everybody was there by 5:30. That's why we moved it up. This time they think that's why we had maybe some less parents there, but we had a good number of students on that aspect. And then Yonder Bags, just a kind of an update on that. Yes, kids are still trying to find ways around it, but it's been interesting the last few days. I've been helping out on duty and watching especially our middle school kids sit at tables outside and have conversations and enjoy each other's company. And then at the homecoming dance Friday night, sitting there listening to two seniors talk to Coach LeMay about how they feel not having phones, even though it's been an inconvenience. There has been less drama at school with them gone. And that came from the words unsolicited from a couple of seniors that were at the dance. So though there's still some battles with it, in the big picture, it's doing some good things. So,
Yeah.
Any questions? All right, thank you. Mr. Gowan, you're up.
All right, so I have 2 bars for you. The first bar is for Esther. So basically, we were originally going to buy some stuff through E-Rate, which we still did, but we got it discounted. And so basically what we're moving this funds for some additional compensation that we paid for all the staff that did the Capturing Kids Heart. So that was budgeted, but this is just, we went over budget a little bit for some of that stuff. So just putting it in there. And then the next one is for Family Income Index. We purchased, I believe it is Renaissance Learning, which is AR program out of there. And originally that wasn't in the budget. We had just put a math coach, but we did purchase that software out of there. So that's it on the bars. And then I didn't know if we had any questions on any of the checks. I know like Capturing Kids Hearts, that is the big payment to them. We're trying to use that ESSER funding up. So because that runs out at the end of the month.
We're gonna be able to get close to zeroing it out.
Yeah, I'll zero it out.
All
Might have
right.
to do some journal entries, but we're a little bit over budget, so we should be good.
Good.
And then that gooseneck trailer, that was part of the CTE grant, so
Right.
that's really good to get some of those bigger pieces of equipment purchased.
Looked nice in the parade too.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Brand new trailer. Okay.
And then that transformer, we will get reimbursed, but from
PSFA.
PSFA. Yeah. We need some approval payment on that one. Yeah. And And then you can see where we did buy some switches and some of that E-rate stuff, but they discounted it pretty heavily, so.
Well, that's good.
That's all I have there.
Bless you.
Then we have the POs for the month. And then we have some graphs for you. Still not a lot going on quite yet. Sorry, I just sent kind of this smaller looking, sorry. Apologize. And then we have your cash balances there. And so you can see where Esther, last month we ended at almost 80,000 and we have like 80, or it's 71 and we have like 82. And so by the difference of this month, we should have that. If not, I'll do some journal entries, but
Okay.
won't be turning back any of those funds.
Good.
And then really on the expense report, we do have some, need to get with Kathy on some of this Carl Perkins money, but that doesn't run out till June. And you can see Esther where we're like 2% left, so
Okay.
that should be cleaned up. Everything else, that's really the only big thing that's expiring this year. And then that COVID testing, you see where that's a negative. So basically we had cash in there. And so when we do a bar this was placed, the order was placed like the end of May or June, but it's on the first bank card. And so it didn't get paid until July. Once we get we'll get a bar in place for that negative.
Is that for testing?
It was nurse supplies is what we used it for. So originally what this grant was for is for testing. And they let the schools get like 70% of the funding up front. And so the Carrizozo just had about $900 left. And so Kathy last year, they got with the nurse and ordered some nursing supplies. But basically it just rolled over. Yeah, so we'll do an increased bar for that to clean up that negative there.
I'm going down this list. Do we have school bus cameras in our buses?
We need I know that's on the to-do list,
It's on
but
to-do list.
because part of that allocation is not gonna cover it
Okay.
completely.
The
But-
2,500?
Yeah,
How much are
and
they?
then that other bus has been ordered. It just takes years. They're just so far behind.
How much are those cameras? Do you know off the top of your head?
So I thought we looked at it, it was like gonna be almost double that.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be double that.
About 5,000?
It's, I'll be honest, it's been a little while since I've looked at that. But it's, I wanna say it's about double what we had budgeted for, what we got in the.
Okay.
So we're gonna get those in this year?
Well, the buses will be down while we do it, it's part of our problem. So maybe something that we either have to
During
Get
break or
scheduled.
something?
over the break or over the summer. So,
And then like the Region 9, that 26107, that's an Ed Fellow. We don't have an Ed Fellow right now, but if you know of an Ed Fellow, someone wants to join, we have a spot for them. And then we have the bank. I looks like I missed
Yeah, the variance sheets.
Huh?
Variance sheets.
Yeah, well, so the variance sheet, that was actually, and we have had a change we've had a lot of changes in personnel actually with K-12.
Yeah.
But the guy that actually worked on that, I did get him rehired. So he will be back hopefully soon. So that's part of that. And Yeah, it's been the gentleman you met last board meeting,
Yes.
he's no longer with us.
Oh, no.
And so,
There's been a few changes.
yeah, there's been a few changes, but right now me and Marie will be the ones over the engagement. And so it'll be one of us at the board meetings every time, and my hands will be in it. And then we're working with Jessica to make sure we have a good system in place. But yes.
Okay. Good.
Yes. So.
Any questions for Gavin? All right, thank you, Gavin. Moving on, approval of the consent agenda items, bills paid, budget transfers.
I move to approve paying our bills and the budget transfers. A second.
Been moving seconded to pay our bills and the budget transfers. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Discussion item, the drug testing policy for athletics or activities. This is the
So this is
first
really
reading,
the-
right?
Yeah, it's really the first reading. Pull it up. I think I had them highlighted. I did at one point.
You did
Adjusted the
days to,
the days and the consequences. I'm still waiting to hear from our legal advice on their input on that. Hopefully I have it by the second reading, unless the board has any chances the second reading will be cleaned up with what needs to be based on what they do, what their suggestions are.
Okay.
It's still hear a lot of support in the community, still hear some not so pro it. And most superintendents I talked to have liked it, had little to no issues with it. Some do. So that's kind of where we want to go next. As I told you last time, the biggest concern I've heard from a small minority of the community is if we started, will we have enough athletes to compete? And so that's with our numbers right now, that could be a legitimate concern, but I don't think it'll be a long-term concern. I think it'll be a short-term problem, or that's my hopes. That we give our younger generation a purpose to say no and try to stay away from it.
okay. Any questions on the discussion item?
So, so you're talking about one reading and the attorney's looking at it, and then how many more reading, like, when does this get approved?
You have to do 2 readings, and then it can be an agenda item the next one.
For
So
action.
hopefully the next reading, and then you can vote on it December and have it in
So it won't
place.
be in place till next year?
Yeah, it'd be in place for January, about middle of basketball season.
Oh, middle of
So,
basketball
right.
season.
Which is what I told the parents at the parent meeting, that that's probably realistically best case scenario, and that's still the pace that we're on.
Okay, so if these parents, I mean, not the parents, if the students are playing basketball starting here pretty quick, right? Then when it does get enacted in January, they can be randomly drug tested? So do the
There will be
students,
there will be an
so the
updated,
students know this?
there will be, yes,
Yes.
the parents know that, and there will be an updated athletic book because we will have to have parent signature to test them. So
A lot of students were at the meeting.
there were a lot
Or
of,
the,
And I've been kind of spreading the word.
yeah,
and I've had some conversation with some students, and they've been pretty real, and some of them said, yeah, I think it's a good thing, and they said the same thing. They may have some friends that aren't out there when we first have it, but they brought some good comments and some good discussion, and one of the gentlemen I talked to, I was actually very impressed with the overall conversation we had about it. It was pretty in-depth and very good insights. An underclassman, high school student, but an underclassman. So
You spoke to the coaches,
coaches are 100% for it.
They are,
along with the coaches, I mean, that's
Yeah.
their team, right?
Yes.
yeah, they're really for this, you know, the practices, they're out of breath. I mean, I've heard so many stories about,
Well, and it's a safety concern. That's another reason that that it's good to have it, so.
All right.
Okay.
Anything else on that? Item
Oh,
6.
Before we move
Oh,
on,
go ahead.
is there, how many kids are we looking at that are gonna be part of the program? Because this is gonna be FFA, volleyball, basketball,
So
track.
what most schools do is they do a full of about 10%. So if we have,
Well, how many kids do you think we have in activities now? Do you guys estimate a number?
Well, we had 25 FFA members yesterday.
Okay, well, how many others are?
Also
volleyball?
basketball and
I
volleyball.
would say,
Or
at one
football.
point, we had one number when we started judging and things like that. I think that Mr. Howard said we had close to 50 kids involved, 7 through 12 with FFA judging.
Which,
So I've been kind of basing my number around 45 to 50.
So you'd pull 5 kids out of that.
You pull, well, if we set the number at 10%, we can set the number at 50%. I mean, that's, you know, and we can do 15%. It's just the more you test, the more cost. But
Right.
still, you know, 15%, that's odd because that's 7.5 kids. So you really need to pick them.
What was the cost for one kid?
I remember that now. It wasn't,
I don't know if they do the rapid test. Usually they do like a
they
rapid
do the rapid
test.
test and
and
that's
then-
what we're paying for up front. And then if a kid tests positive,
And that's,
Then
that
it's
goes
next
to a
level,
higher,
and
more
But if it's
expensive.
negative, you don't have to send it to them.
Yeah, so it's like $20, $30 per test, and then if it gets positive, then it's like 100. I don't know, I would have to look, but then it's more.
I can get that information for you because I have the quote for it. I just don't have it in front of me right now.
Yeah. Keep something
No, you're
down.
fine, I'll just,
Absolutely.
just
And
ask.
I think it's just one of the steps.
Mhm.
You gotta do something.
Yep.
all right, moving on to item 6. Are you done, John? Sorry.
I believe so. Yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off.
you're all right. No, I think we're good.
You're good? Okay. Item 6, next regular board meeting, November 19th. NMSBA moved their meeting to the 12th through the 14th.
I like it.
You
So
do?
we've got rooms for
Because the week
everybody.
before, I was gonna be in contact.
We didn't get rooms for, no, I was.
Yeah.
Well,
Everybody
we did
had
get rooms reserved for
Yeah,
everybody.
she said she were
so,
covered.
Yeah, so we're covered, so I just need to know if somebody's not gonna be able to make it, and we'll free up some space.
You?
I am not gonna make it.
I'll be there.
I might not make the next board meeting.
We have till the end December 30th to get our hours. Oh, yeah,
Yes.
but not for the board meeting.
Yeah, no, I'm.
We all good on
talk to my
that?
boss tomorrow.
Just let me know in the next week, so we got a little time before that, so.
Then starting next year, we've got the
Also, we just-
Board Institute in Santa Fe, February 13th through 15th. Then the spring budget, I guess that's all the budget officers and superintendents is the 9th through the 11th of April. And the law conference is in June. So
It's the dates they have on their websites.
For
So
now.
far,
They don't change them. when
I
they
know that
forget,
was
so.
weird how he changed it real.
And didn't even say anything in his email about it, the date changing. It just said, here it
I'm
is.
glad.
Yeah.
I wonder if they just had it rolling on the website all the time.
It's always the first weekend of December, always,
Yeah, it usually is.
always.
Yeah.
Something must have come up.
Any other business?
That's it.
I move we adjourn. Been moved and second. All those in favor say aye.
Hi.
All those opposed.
Wow,
Motion
that's a
carries.
record. Wow.
Who seconded that? Yeah.
Well, thank you all. Thank you all for coming.
It's
a nice short meeting.
Sorry, so short. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fine. You're welcome. Anytime.
Yes, and you tell people when they don't know what